are now listening to the Life of Produk Podcast.
Yeah, what up, man? It's the boy Product. You're now locked into the Life of Product Podcast. What's going on out there in the world? Let me tell you something. There's a lot been going on. A lot of things. Listen, man, a lot of things been going on in the world, and we are going to touch on that today. I just want to say welcome back to the show to everybody, to the recurring listeners, to the new listeners, to the YouTube subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to the show, it is youtube.com/Life of Produk Podcast. That is PRODUK Podcast. Thank you so much to the people that are on streaming. I'm loving the numbers, man. I told y'all a while back. It's with pretty much every country I have listeners now. A lot of y'all on the YouTube side. Shouts out to Dominican Republic. Shouts out to Nigeria. I think DR was like 18.1% or something like that, man. And it's still growing, man. People from London listening, man. Different cities and different states throughout the United States. Thank you to y'all. Without y'all, this show would not be where it is at. And I am very proud of myself. I am proud of us for keeping the wave going. Let's keep the wave going. The podcast workshops are back. The podcast workshops are every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. It is a 2-hour workshop. I take 1 hour to teach, and I take another hour for Q&A. Ironically, a lot of y'all been reaching out, and we've been doing one-on-one sessions. We can do those too. So the podcast workshop is 35. The one-on-one classes are 40. Reach out to me. Shoot me an email, lifeofproduct@gmail.com, or DM me on the gram. Get at me. We can set up a time for you. It still takes 2 hours because it takes a full hour to teach, and I try to give you guys 1 hour for the Q&A. A lot of people are reaching out, man. I'm actually helping people with their podcasts. Some have started their podcasts already. Some haven't started their podcast yet. Some of them in the making. Shouts out to my boy Ojo from Meta King's podcast, man. It was an honor for him and his peoples to hit me up, jump on a group FaceTime with them and knock it out, man. I really appreciate y'all for trusting me and trusting the knowledge that I have to take you guys further. I will not steer you wrong, I promise. G is the boy Product, Life of Product Podcast. Shouts out to the Denver Nuggets for winning the NBA championship this year. I find it very ironic that maybe I look into stuff too much. I find it very ironic that they win the year that Melo retires. You know, Melo used to play for Denver. I am a hardcore Melo fan, and I am upset to this day that the homie Melo never got a ring. I'm mad about that. Some stuff I just got an issue with. As a fan, I got an issue with it. It is what it is, but I'm not happy about it. I'm also not happy that the Knicks got knocked out. I'm not happy that the Nets got swept the first round. I'm proud to be a New Yorker that we had two teams in the playoffs at the same time. I'm proud that the Knicks went to the second round. Some odd years back, that would have been a no-no. They wouldn't even made it halfway there. They wouldn't have made it halfway there. So bang, that happened. What's gonna happen next season? I don't know, man. Yo, I know LeBron was talking about he was hinting at retiring. I don't think homie gonna retire. I don't want to see him retire. I want to see LeBron stay and play in the league with his son. I don't know if they're gonna play for the same team, but I want to see him play in the same league at the same time as his son. We need that history. As Black people, we need it. Not only are they making history, that would be Black history. We need that. And I know a lot of people. I've had people hit me up, criticize me. Talking about sports, first of all, I can talk about what I want, man. This is my show. If you got a problem with it, pull up. I ain't the dude you want to pull up with. I think that us as Black people, we need that. I think that I feel like our history in America is a little more special. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to choose my words wisely. Black history is a little more special in America because we've had so much adversity and so many mountains to climb over to get there. So whenever we celebrate these victories, I don't want to hear nothing from y'all. Don't criticize us. Let us celebrate our victories because we didn't get a lot of victories for a long time. We don't get victories much often as we should because of the things that we have to deal with, whether it's coming from the outside or it's coming from in-house, because we do bring a lot of problems on ourselves. But so what? I don't care. Let us rock out. Let us enjoy our history. I got something that we need to talk about, brother. Yo. I got something we need to talk about. Come on, come to the front. We got to talk about this. The John Gotti III and Floyd Mayweather fight. Okay, now, when Floyd officially retired, I already knew he wasn't going to retire. Shouts out to Floyd for being at his age and being at the status that he's at and still doing exhibition fights. I do get excited when Floyd announces a fight. I had no idea up until a few weeks ago that Floyd Mayweather Jr. was going to fight John Gotti III. I had no idea John Gotti III was an actual fighter in real life. So when I first saw like the first press conference that they had about it, the first thing I did was what everybody else did. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all did this already. You went to YouTube and you went down a rabbit hole, right? I was very impressed by John Gotti III's fights that I actually watched because he was doing MMA. I didn't see any boxing. I couldn't find any boxing matches from him, but I found a few. I think I found about 2 or 3 MMA fights, and boy, he was giving these dudes that work. He was giving them that work. As a fellow New Yorker, I was proud to watch that. You feel what I'm saying? Now, I'm a Mayweather fan. I'm a hardcore Mayweather fan, right? And I usually root for the home team whenever I watch stuff like that. So whether it's the Knicks, the Nets, the Yankees, the Mets, the Rangers, the Islanders, I don't care if you're the Brooklyn Cyclones, I'm rooting for you. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to front. When Zab Judah fought Mayweather, I was Team Zab all the way. Brooklyn, you feel what I'm saying? I stayed a little neutral in this because I'm a fan of Mayweather, but I told you I root for the New York team, right? Now, the way that fight ended, oh man, yo, I've been reading like some conspiracies about that fight, and they say that it was all staged to lead up to a rematch. I don't think it was staged though. Now, to my understanding, Mayweather has been friends with the family for quite some time or whatnot. First of all, shouts out to JG3. I call him JG3. I don't know if I coined that, but if I did coin that term, I'm taking credit for it. Shouts out to JG3 for getting in the ring with Mayweather because a lot of dudes don't even have the heart to do that. Y'all be thinking because Mayweather's kind of small, he's skinny, he's old, y'all just gonna get in the ring and rock, son. That is not happening. This dude fought in the Olympics when he was a teenager. This is a dude who was a teenager professionally knocking out grown men. You are not just gonna get in the ring and beat Mayweather. It ain't happening. I don't know what type of time these dudes be on, man. I used to watch the All Access and I used to be shaking my head like, I already know how this is gonna go. So shouts out to JG3 for getting in the ring with Mayweather. Now, MMA is a little different than boxing. I think JG3 can box from watching the way he throws his hands and things like that. The issues I have with that fight, the fight was stopped pretty much. I forgot the name of the ref. That's that ref. He's ref like pretty much all Mayweather's fights, or as of the later years or whatever. And he stopped it because of all of the smack talking. We couldn't hear all of it. We could hear a little bit of it, but it got heated. It got really, really heated. Now, anybody who's been in a real fight in real life, yes, we all smack talk while we was fighting. It just happens. To me, for it to get so bad for the ref to stop it, we don't know what was said, but I can just imagine what that ref heard. It was some next level stuff, and he probably felt it was safer to stop the fight. Now, being as though there was a whole altercation in the ring, on the way to the locker room, behind the scenes in the locker room, just imagine if he didn't stop the fight and he would have let them fight another 2 rounds because he stopped it in the 6th round. So just imagine if they would have fought another 2 rounds, it would have went further and bang, bang, bang. All I'm saying is this. I thought it was a good fight. Mayweather dominated. Mayweather dominated the fight, right? But I'm very interested to watch JG3's career from here some more, whether it's MMA or boxing. Now, my issue was JG3 played it too safe during that fight. He played it too safe. I don't know what prep talk his corner was giving him. I think he has a good corner. I don't know what prep talk they was giving him. I felt like he played it too safe. By that 3rd, 4th round, when Mayweather came out the gate fighting offensively, which I noticed some of his later fights or whatever, certain contenders when he fights, he comes out offensively, and I feel like he does that mentally to break them down and to gain points early on in that fight, right? Now, I felt like by him coming out and fighting offensively, it put JG3 more on defensive. I don't think his corner trained him for that. I think his corner trained him for him to possibly be more the aggressor and Mayweather more shoulder rolling during a fight. He wasn't shoulder rolling a lot. He was like this and fighting offensively. Now, when he started fighting more defensively by that 3rd, 4th round, that was the window for JG3 to go ahead and boom, 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 and to be more offensive. And he kind of missed that window. Now, don't mind you, JG3 caught him with some really good punches, Preferably, I think some good lefts. He caught him with some really good punches. He should have threw his hands a little more. But I'm glad he took that fight because he learned something. You just fought a world-class heavyweight champion early on in your career. You are blessed to not only have that fight, not only make that money, forget the money. You are blessed to have that experience because now you can take that and apply that to the rest of your career. I would love to see these dudes running back. I'm hoping they run it back and they do a full fight. Not no 8 rounds. I want to see a 12-round fight, not no exhibition fight. Put this on their record. It's the boy Product, Life Product Podcast, man. It's episode 95. We're going to get back into it. Shouts out to the Mayweather camp. Shouts out to the John Gotti III camp for that fight and blessing us with that. So I will be right back with the second part of the show. What up, man? It's the boy Product. We're now back with the Life of Product Podcast. Again, if you guys are interested in the workshops, it is every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. As it's growing and more people want to do the group classes, which are $35 for the group classes, I am going to add a second class once it gets bigger and we get to that point. So it'll be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. We were doing them on Sundays, and Sundays we're working out, but a lot of people like to spend time with their family, and, that kind of interrupts with them or whatever. But, episode 95, man. Episode 95 is titled The 40's Club. Yeah, your boy just hit the 40's Club. It's been a long road, man. I am blessed to see 40. I am blessed to see 40. I am blessed to see 40. Not only physically see 40, to mentally be there, to emotionally and spiritually be there, and to be in great health. Because I know a lot of people actually younger than me that didn't make it. I know some that are, fighting really, really hard battles. And I want to get serious for a minute, man. The 40's Club scared me. I don't know why. Ever since I was a kid, the 40's Club scared me. When I was a kid, watching my mother and my father hit the 40's Club just did something to me. I felt like I watched them change as they hit the 40's Club. Now, look, I no disrespect. I love my mother, rest in peace. I love my pops, but y'all baby boomers 40 and our 40 is two different things. We still got a lot of youth juice. You know what I'm saying? Y'all went through some stuff, but we could see it on y'all faces at 40. I love y'all. I'm playing. No, I'm no disrespect. But they 40 and our 40 is a lot different. But watching my mother and my father hit their 40s, it was the scariest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? I remember being a kid. I was with my mom, but you turn 40 next week. I was like all upset. She was like, so, you know what I'm saying? A lot of my friends that hit the 40's Club before me all said the same thing. They was like, oh, you'll be fine. My first question was, does it hurt? You know what I'm saying? From what I'm hearing, a few years into it, it does hurt. We're going to be waking up with leg pains and stuff. You might hear bone crack when you're getting out the bed. So the 40's Club, I always had this complex growing up, especially with my mother. Like, I just wanted to, like, overly protect them and stuff like that. And I know it sounds weird, but I felt like as a kid, I could not protect them from the 40's Club. We cannot stop time. They're talking about doing this stuff where, they want to put people consciousness on like a quote unquote hard drive or something or whatever to keep the conscious going. I don't know how that's going to work out. Sounds kind of creepy. It sounds like a little like that show Altered Carbon. If you was watching that, which I didn't finish the second season. I wasn't feeling the second season. But the 40's Club is kind of scary. I always wanted to protect my parents. You can't protect people from time. You can't alternate time. The only thing you can do is embrace time and walk adjacent, walk right next to it. You have to be parallel with time and walk into time. I wanted to come into the 40's Club with a fresh consciousness. I wanted my consciousness to be fresh and clear that, okay, this is where I'm at now. Because when I going into my 30s, it was kind of scary, man. First of all, let's rewind. This is the most rest I've gotten and the most I've sat down within like the last 7 days. I'm gonna keep it real, y'all, because I've been on it. Last week I had to take a last minute trip to Virginia, which from where I'm at now is about 5.5 hours. I had to go to my nephew's crib. Shouts out to my nephew. He's going on deployment this week. It got pushed back. He was supposed to leave today. I believe he's leaving like Saturday or something like that. Got to stay at my nephew's crib for the first time. He just bought his house a few months ago. I love you. You are very blessed. He has a very huge, beautiful home. He's doing great. I've been to Virginia plenty of times, but that was my actually my first time in Norfolk, and I got to go to Virginia Beach. So somebody hit my car last year. I was at a CVS or whatever. what I ended up going in for, I actually didn't need it. They actually didn't have it. So I went to my eye doctor. My eye doctor was like, hey, your eyes are great, but I'm going to give you a prescription for glasses just in case you want it. So I'm thinking, yeah, let me not put wear and tear in my eyes. Let me just, when I'm reading or whatever, I don't even need it when I'm driving. They don't do glasses prescriptions. So I went there for nothing. Literally parked away from everybody I backed in. They're calling over the loudspeaker, who's in a black such and such? I'm like, oh, that's my car. What's going on? Somebody backed into my car. The dude who backed in my car wasn't even his car. He was driving somebody else's car. Had a whole parking lot, right? I'm gonna tell y'all the story. Had a whole parking lot, backs into my car, messes my bumper up, pulls off. There were cameras there, and there was a lady who was a witness. I got the dude's license plate number. Immediate call the cops, right? So now my bumper's messed up, everything. My car has been in the shop ever since late last year, like right at the end of November going into December. This is like my 4th rental from his company, Progressive, right? The last one I had a problem with it. The tire was messed up or whatever. Didn't need an oil change. I called them. They said swap it out. Get a white car. Drive it up to Virginia. Go chill with my nephew. We had a great time. We hung out locally. I ain't know locally that the spots over in Virginia Beach give it up like that. So we was in a hookah spot. We chilling. They playing reggaeton. They playing bachata. We got the hookah going. I'm like, yo, this is my pre-birthday turn up. Let's get it, boy. He had a Tesla he had rented because his car was in the shop. I don't know what's going on with our cars right now. First time riding the Tesla, it's lit. So, you know what I'm saying? My nephew drove to my sister's crib the next day. I'm like, yo, I'll lock the doors for you. I go to a toll because, there's tolls or whatever. The Chesapeake Bay, whatever, toll or whatever. $18, first of all. Boom. Put the car back in drive. The car won't move. The car will not move. Newer cars, they don't have the hand e-brake and they don't have the foot brake or whatever. So it's like that little button. I never pushed the button. The dashboard is showing parking brake malfunction. I cannot move. So 2 cops come, and 1 cop was like kind of trying to flex on me. And I was like, yo, my man, first of all, I ain't no criminal. The car just stopped. He was like, you need to move it. How can I move it? So they push it a little bit or whatever. After it gains a little momentum, I slow drive it to the side of the highway past the toll. Did that. The city actually provides a free towing service, which moves it from the highway to the side of the parking lot. So I did that. So I dealt with that. I told myself before that happened, I was going to drive back to Brooklyn because I wanted to go visit my mother's grave and I wanted to spend some time up there or whatever because I haven't been back home in 2 years, right? So I'm literally on my way to New York. I'm about maybe 45 minutes, an hour from my nephew's crib. That happens. Now, I had to call a tow truck. The tow truck says, hey, we're going to send a tow truck, then we're going to send you an Uber to take you to the closest enterprise to switch the rental out. There were no Ubers, none available. I'm on the side of the highway. The location is given the wrong address. Yo, I can't make this up. And it's beaming hot outside. I'm drenched in sweat. I'm aggravated. Phone is halfway dead. So the tow truck driver goes, yo, man, you want me to drop you off? I'm like, yeah, please, because I don't want to be stuck here. I got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I got to the Enterprise place like right before they close, like maybe an hour or 2 before they close or whatever. It set my whole trip way off, way off. I was supposed to get in Brooklyn around 7. It set me off so bad I ain't get there till like right at 1 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And what did I do? I still turned up that night. Yo, listen, man, it wasn't stopping me. It wasn't stopping me. People like, things happen for a reason. Turn back home. No, wasn't happening. Nah, first of all, I'm exploring like Dora, baby. I'm not turning around. I still had a lit night. I still got to go. Matter of fact, I went out in Queens that night, partied or whatever, bong, bong, bong. But the thing is, one of the reasons I'm telling y'all the story, because this is right before I turned 40. 10 years ago, right before I turned 30, I had car trouble. Literally, I was about to go to Atlantic City, and as I'm putting everything in the whip, I turned the keys to the whip, and my check engine light came on. So I don't know. Look, and the funny thing about that's all I could think about 2-3 months leading up to me turning 40 was I wonder if I'm going to have car trouble this time because I had it 10 years ago. 10 years ago, right before I turned 30, I had car trouble. Right before I turned 40, I have car trouble. Now, when I turn 50, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. Because when I turned 30, I had a Charger. The engine goes out. I parked around. I found parking to where I ain't have to move the car that whole weekend, and I jumped on. I went to Manhattan and jumped on Greyhound and went to Atlantic City because my room was already paid for. I couldn't get a refund. I was like, nah, it's my birthday. I want to get lit. I'm turning up. Bong, bong, bong. Don't let the things in life stop you from what you need to do immediately, especially when you know that if you got a trip coming up and you know that you need this trip. I needed that trip. If you need that trip, still go. Don't look at everything like, oh, that's for a reason. That's a sign. No, it's not a sign. It's evil trying to mess with you to knock you off your pivot. Evil wants to see you upset and wants to see you crying. It wants to see you sad. It wants to see you quit. It wants to see you shut down. Why are you giving that to it? For what? For what? When there's a will, there's a way, baby. G is the boy product, Life of Product Podcast. I will be right back with the third part of the show. G, it's the boy product. We're now back with the Life of Product Podcast, man. It's episode 40, episode 95, the 40's Club, 40, baby. Yo, speaking of 40, man. Oh man, where was I? I was in Charlotte, like a month or two ago, and I was walking into a place, and this dude was like, "Hey," he was like, "Ain't you that podcaster from Brooklyn?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Hey, you know Jay-Z?" And I just looked at him like, "So you automatically gonna think I know Jay-Z because I'm from Brooklyn?" You know, come on, man, chill, brother. I did have a Brooklyn Nets hat on. Okay, I get that, but chill out. Like, really, like, come on, man. If I be like, you know, Mr. Beast, what you gonna say? Because you from North Carolina, right? Come on, man, chill, brother. Shouts out to Mr. Beast, but I wasn't feeling that. I thought he was trying to be funny. You know what I'm saying? So good though. 40's Club episode 95. I know a lot of people that hit the 40's Club before me. I know a lot of people that are about a year or two behind me. This is the question I want to ask you. What is your 40's focus? What is what as you approach your 40's, what is the focus for your 40's? You now have 10 years before you become a half a century years old. You have 10 years before you become a half a century years old. That sounds scary to me. It sounds even scarier saying it. So if it sounds scary to you hearing it, I'm coming out of my mouth. 10 years before you reach a half a century years old. I was working with a coworker one time. He's from Philly, man. He said something wild to me, and I ended the conversation. So I was in my 30s. So it was a few years ago, and he was like, "Yo, how far before you turn 40?" So I told him. He was like, "You know what's coming soon?" I said, "Well," he's like, "Death." And I was like, "Yo, shut up." He was like, "Listen, man, it's inevitable. No, man, we're gonna grow old. Our bodies are gonna shut down." He had like really bad knees. I think he was like, speaking from a deeper place or whatever. But I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, what is your 40's focus? You in 10 years, you will be a half a century years old once you hit 40. For me, I want my karma 100% clear. I want clear karma 100%. That's one of the main things I want my karma to be clear. I don't want to owe the universe anything on the back end as far as things that I've done to people, decisions that I've made that have affected people in a negative way. I want a clear karma conscience. I want clear karma 100%. I want a better relationship with God as I'm going into my 40's, going deep into my 40's. I do want to take the necessary steps and live more of a God-fearing life, the right way, the right way. You know what I mean? Will I be able to do that right away by 40 and a half, 40 and 3/4, by 41? I don't know. I don't want to rush it, but it's going to happen. I want to do it on God's time. I don't like rushing things, man. I like to wait till either God tells me to move or the universe tells me to do it. Once I get that sign from God and the universe, or that little voice in my head and my heart says, go ahead and rock out, I'm going to rock out. I want my podcast to grow bigger. I want my company, Korporate.Ent LLC, to grow bigger. I eventually want to take it, and it has grown. It's grown from where I started, from the very first logo to having my own office for a few years, to being able to Google myself and pull up my website, pull up my podcast on other streaming platforms I ain't never even heard of and I never used before. I think I've grown. One of my goals is I want to get my podcast on more streaming platforms. I want the video to eventually hit streaming platforms. I want to be on radio. So I have a 10-year plan that I'm implementing, and I already started taking the necessary steps for this 10-year plan before I hit my 40's. But you have to realistically do it. You can't I refuse to be one of those people. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. Can you really do that? It take time and money to do a lot of this stuff. You think it's cheap? All the stuff I had in my own office, I foot the bill for all of that. I paid the monthly rent out of pocket. I paid for I was on Amazon ordering lights. I was ordering backdrops. I was ordering this. I was ordering that. I was editing my show. It takes time and money. If you don't have the time and money, you realistically can't do it. Some people only have one. I get that. Some people they have other obligations. You might be working 2 jobs. Now you got the money to do it, but you don't got the time because you're working 2 jobs. Where's the balance going to come from? I can't tell you where the balance is going to come from. You have to see for yourself. You have to find yourself where that balance is going to come from. Balance is something that is very, very hard to obtain because once you finally do get the balance, you might not have the mental strength or the mental capacity to keep on going. You are gassed out. And I've spoken on that about that before, and I'm speaking from experience. I've been gassed out. I've taken a beating in life from things other people have done, from circumstances, from timing, and I was gassed out. So when I did have the money and I had the time, I just didn't have it at that time anymore. I did not have it in me to wake up and say, all right, I'm going to do that. I've had the time and money from working. And when I finally got a day off, I needed to just stay in bed. I stayed in bed. I was like, I can't do it today. Then the next week, I couldn't do it that day. The week after that, I couldn't do it that day. The next week, I couldn't do it that day. Now that's a whole month went by, and I got nothing done. All I did was go to work, sleep, eat, go to work, sleep, eat. That's it. So if you want, let me tell you something. If you were not mentally prepared to go without sleep, if you were not mentally prepared to go without eating a good lunch every day and preparing food at home just so you can obtain your goals, I don't want to hear nothing from you. And I'm being, listen, man, tough love is where it's at. I have no problem I will give anybody tough love, and I will tell it to you how it is. I don't care how bad it messes your day up. If you let the tough love I give you mess your day up, then you ain't ready for this thing called life, brother. Because there's a lot worse things going on in tough love. People getting killed in other countries right now, fighting over false beliefs and things like that. There's the people in Flint, Michigan still ain't got clean water. So if they could live with dirty water, you could live with tough love. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear none of that. But yeah, man, it's episode 95, the 40's Club. The 40's Club is going to be interesting. I'm going to tell you, I feel great. On a physical level, I feel great. I eat great now. I take the right supplements. I work out. I'm actually getting sleep now. When I told y'all before, working in the airline industry for 13 years, I felt like I did not sleep. There limited sleep, but I didn't sleep consistently, man. I would take vacations, and so I would take like 2 vacations a year, and sometimes for that I would take one in February, and I would always take one over the summer. And the one in February, I would always take it around the time my kids was out of school, and I would, flights are packed around that time, winter recess and stuff like that. Winter recess going into what is it called? Spring break. So winter recess when that February, when I would always take that week off every time that year, we would do a road trip. I would go to my pop's crib, go see family down south. I love taking my kids to see their family because we didn't live there. I needed them to still be close to them. I would sleep the whole week. I would sleep. Now I would go out here and there and stuff like that. And their grandparents lived 10 minutes from my pops, so I would get a break. Thank God for them. Thank God for my pops. But I would sleep. I would be in the bed because I wasn't getting that sleep when I would go back to Brooklyn. I was not getting that. Even if I could, I still couldn't. I get up and move my car 8 o'clock in the morning. So this is the most sleep that I've gotten in a very, very long time, and I feel like I missed out on that. Thank God that point in life, I reached it a few years ago to where I could get that because I know people that haven't, and you can see it on them. I was neglecting myself because I felt like I had to neglect myself, and I didn't realize until I started to get sleep how important it is for your body. Sleep deprivation is real. When you're not getting enough sleep, you start thinking different. Your thoughts become cloudy. I feel like your soul doesn't operate properly when you don't get enough sleep. I feel like it doesn't. There's no way to scientifically prove that. But the way that I get sleep now, I feel like I'm spiritually a lot stronger than I was when I wasn't getting sleep. So shouts out, man, to, life circumstances. We think life circumstances play out bad, but everything is cooking up the right way like it's supposed to be. It's the 40's Club, man. Shouts out to everybody who was supportive. Shouts out to all of the birthday wishes I got yesterday between Facebook, Instagram, between people actually personally calling me, texting me, hitting me up, all the people that I know, man. I got to rock out with the fam yesterday. We went out for dinner. Shouts out to my sister, me, her, and the kids. We went to a spot in Mooresville called Toucans, and the food is amazing, man. I had a crab cake. I had some mahi mahi. You know what I'm saying? It was amazing, and I thank God to have them in my life. I am very, very grateful for them. It was great, and I pray that I'm able to return that for all of their birthdays. Cheers, the boy Product, Life of Produk Podcast, episode 95, the 40's Club, man. I am here. Woo! 40's a scary number. We embracing it. We getting older and we growing. I'm out, baby. Cheers.
You are now listening to the Life of Produk Podcast.